Beyonce's halftime show at Super Bowl 50 was inappropriate. Maybe it was good for an award show, but not at the big game. Not during the halftime where you're supposed to have more family-friendly music. That's when you have bands like Nickelback, who we all joke about and say, oh, Nickelback sucks, Coldplay sucks. But the reality is that that is the kind of music you need to have at the Super Bowl halftime. Something that is middle of the road. It doesn't ruffle any feathers. It's not politically charged. That is what you need to have, because you got kids watching it, whole families, grandmas, grandpas, all different walks of life, all different creeds, colors, from all across the country and all across the world. Don't have something that is so politically charged and niche like Beyonce coming out there talking about my Negro nose, my Negro hair, talking about Black Panthers and Black Lives Matter. That's too much. It's too politically charged for a Super Bowl halftime. It doesn't make any sense juxtaposed next to Bruno Mars and Coldplay on the same stage. I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense. So I went to my Facebook page earlier today and I posted this meme that you see before you. And this meme got a lot of responses. I got like 60 likes and like the same amount of actual comments. And there was a lot of people saying that I was a coon, Uncle Tom, of course, which is a natural thing. Anytime you go against the so-called black script, you are a coon and you are Uncle Tom. And that's just par for the course. I'm not surprised by that. But people really didn't understand my point. And it's like, look, Lady Gaga has worn a dress that has meat. She has worn a dress that is composed of nothing but raw beef. And she wore that on stage at the VMAs back in 2010. So that was appropriate for that particular instance, but it would not be appropriate for her to do that at a Super Bowl. She came on wearing a patriotic outfit, you know, the all red with blue nails. She wore what she needed to wear, and she performed very well. Sung the national anthem quite beautifully, and probably surprised a lot of people. She got rave reviews for that. But Beyonce, on the other hand, was more polarizing. Now, of course, this isn't really a money thing as far as being able to get paid by the NFL, because they don't pay people to come there. But just to be able to get on that stage in front of millions of people at once at the biggest game of the year, probably the biggest sporting event of the year in the United States, that is, outside of stuff like the World Cup and anything like that on an international level. This is probably the biggest event that you'll be able to go to and be in front of a lot of different people in the United States, maybe even the world. So Beyonce, right after the actual performance, was promoting a tour. Of course, she put out a song right before the actual Super Bowl. And when she put out the song, I saw it and I was praying that she didn't do it at the actual game. I was like, man, hopefully she doesn't do this song, because this is too divisive. It's too racist. You got all kind of black nationalists, all kind of Black Panthers, all kind of Black Lives Matter, a lot of stuff about Katrina in the video. I didn't like it. And if you want to see it, I have links in the description box below so you can see the whole thing in full. So you can kind of get a better understanding of what the song was about and what the imagery was behind it. Then you get to the actual game and you got your dancers wearing Black Panther / stripper outfits, and they got their fists up in pre and post game pictures, and they're holding a sign. I forget what the sign said, but I put it right here so you can see it. I saw some comments that said that since the Black Panther Party had originated right there in the Bay Area and the game was being played there for Super Bowl 50, it made sense for them to bring it up. But at the same time, that was the inappropriate venue to do it. You do that at an award show. Like, let's just say you had the VMAs or something else in San Francisco or in California in general. You do that there. That makes more sense. That's more appropriate. It fits. You know, some people say you're trying to squelch free speech. No, I'm not. I'm just saying that certain things are appropriate in some cases and certain things aren't appropriate in other cases. It's very simple. If I was to say, hey, you know what? You shouldn't have any death metal or punk rock or any kind of sexual R&B music at a funeral or a kid's birthday party like Chuck E. Cheese. I don't think you're going to play R. Kelly, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number at Chuck E. Cheese. That is inappropriate. I'm not saying that R. Kelly shouldn't make that music. All I'm saying is that there is a certain time and place you play certain things, that you do certain things, that certain things are appropriate and certain things are inappropriate. And Super Bowl 50 was the time that Beyonce's performance was inappropriate. That's how I feel about it, right? You could have had something like Nickelback, or you could have just had Coldplay really by himself, because the halftime shows aren't really memorable. The most important part, in my humble opinion, is national anthem, because that is when there's not a whole lot of pomp and circumstance. It's just the person singing, and that's pretty much it. With Gaga, you had a lot of stuff going on. You had the piano playing, of course, and you had the flyover. But for the most part, it was just her singing. And that is the most important part musically. The halftime show is more about the glitz and the glamour and the big stage and the performance and the production of the whole thing. That's the main thing. You could pretty much put anybody in there Just put somebody that's not so politically charged. And see, this is the reason why I stopped watching ESPN a while ago. It's because they're too politically charged. Everything is about politics. Why would you have Keith Olbermann from MSNBC? I don't want to watch MSNBC and ESPN simultaneously. Matter of fact, I don't want to watch MSNBC at all. I don't like liberal politics. I'm a conservative. But you know what? I wouldn't even want to see Fox News on ESPN. Keep them separate. I watch my news where I watch my news. I watch my politics information where I watch politics information. I read articles. I do different things to get my feel of politics. I don't need some podunk sports reporter trying to be a pundit. Save the punditry for CNN, MSNBC, Fox, ABC, CBS, 60 Minutes. I don't want to see that while I'm watching the big game. It's bad enough that we have to have racism smashed in our faces every day by one president, Barack Hussein Obama, who, by the way, sets the tone for all of this, because without Barack Obama, there is no general overtone in the country that is sanctioned from the top. I'm not saying that Barack Obama invented racism, because that's silly to say. I'm just saying that he is somebody that's perpetuated it with his identity politics. It starts from the top. If you got him saying that it's okay to engage in that type of behavior, identity politics, to validate Black Lives Matter, then that gives Jay-Z and Beyonce the green light to just go out and do a video like that and then come out during the game and perform that song, which was very racist and was inappropriate for the setting. If there was a song to come out and say something conservative and it was highly political, I would say the same thing, that it's inappropriate for the setting. Politically charged statements aren't something that the NFL does. That's why they pick Nickelback and bands like that to perform, because they don't want a whole bunch of conversation around politics. Really, they're trying to stay away from all of that. I mean, they had a movie about them called Concussion, which is highly political, starring Will Smith. And then you had Will Smith complain that he didn't get an Oscar, so that brings him in the limelight. And then you got the whole Ray Rice situation where he beat his wife in the elevator, knocked her out. And you got Greg Hardy doing the same thing, but just wasn't on video. They should want to avoid politics at all costs. But apparently that's not what they're doing. They're kind of like rushing towards it. And I don't understand the strategy. Maybe you're trying to get in good with the Black Lives Matter crowd to show that you're diverse and all of this and that. But maybe you have an SJW PR person that's telling you, hey, go out and do this. This would be great for your brand. This would be good for the NFL. But many have spoken, including my man, Sheriff David Clarke. You had Rudy Giuliani. You had Lou Dobbs. A lot of guys on of course, Fox News. And you had people just in general, just a general public, saying that this is inappropriate. They turned the channel. They turned off. They're thinking she's racist. They're getting racism smashed in their face, and it's not something that they want to have happen. All they want to be able to do is sit at home or go to friends and family house, go to a bar, and enjoy their game. They don't want all the extra politics to go with it. And can you blame them? Who wants that? You know, you want to see Cam Newton get his dab on. You want to see Peyton Manning go out right off in the sunset with his second ring to bring the grand total for the Peyton Eli tribe to 4. I mean, that's an exciting thing to see the game, to see the commercials, to see all of the kids' faces when they get to watch their favorite player go out there and perform, not to see Beyonce half naked with Black Panther strippers on there talking about Negro nose and Negro hair. That's too much for that situation. You know, maybe at an awards show, it'd be fine, but not at Super Bowl 50 halftime show. Hopefully next time they don't do this. Hopefully next time they bring back Nickelback or just let Coldplay and Bruno Mars rock by themselves. Any kind of middle of the road, tolerable, palatable act. Katy Perry was perfect with the Left Shark. Look, that was perfect. You probably had a lot of kids that wanted that Left Shark for toys for Christmas, or they wanted to get it right afterwards because little kids like stuff like that. You got to understand, you're trying to appeal to a wide audience, not just racially, but age-wise as well, and culturally as well. Not everyone has the same culture as you if you appreciated what Beyonce did. You can't just play to a niche crowd. You got to play to everybody and let everybody be represented fairly. And that's the whole thing about diversity. People don't understand. They think diversity is just not having any white people or having less white people. No, diversity is being able to incorporate a lot of different people and get them on one accord. That's the way I look at it. And you need to have something like middle of the road, Nickelback, Coldplay going forward. Don't bring Beyonce back. And if you do bring Beyonce back, make sure she doesn't do anything so politically charged. Make sure that she does a nice song, catchy, upbeat, but not with so much political overtone. So what do you guys think? Do you think it was too much? Do you think it was just enough? Do you think that politics have a place in sports, or do you think they should be separate? Whatever it is, Let me know in the comments below. That's all I gotta say for this video. If you like what you heard, please rate, comment, share, and subscribe. Peace.